Hey, what's up everybody? As you can see by the shirt, I am doing my review today on the live action adaptation of the Lilo and Stitch movie, from the animated one back from 2002. And of course, 23 years later, they finally do the live action adaptation. And I know when Disney tends to do action adaptation of classic animated films, they can either be, really good, like Cinderella, or they can be, like a mixed bag, like the recent Snow White adaptation that came out, a couple of months ago. But anyway, for those already familiar with the story, Lilo and Stitch deals with this alien koala like bear like named Stitch, who's initially named Experiment 626, and he ends up coming to Earth after being exiled from this Federation council or something like that. And then he ends up in Hawaii, where he ends up befriending Lilo's character, a 6-year-old little girl who's raised by her oldest sister, Nani, after their parents, pass away. And of course, what makes Lilo and Stitch bond so well, despite their, innocent, mischievous behavior, is like, they really care, for one another, and they, in a sense, they become like their own, family of sorts. And, and the chemistry between the characters is amazing. And another thing that's great about Lilo and Stitch, that it does stay faithful to the animated film, but also making its own changes, but for the better would be the best way to describe it. And for those that have seen the animated film, you'll definitely love the live action, adaptation, and they did a good job modeling, Stitch rather well, unlike the CGI buffoonery that was the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But that's just something else. And of course, characters like Tia Carrere, who voiced Nani in the animated film, appears in this one as a social worker, for Nani and Lilo. And then of course Jason Scott Lee, who voiced David in the animated films, has like a cameo appearance as a luau manager, where Nani works to try to help take care of Lilo. So and that's that. So I'll definitely say, in terms of how I think this rates out of the Disney live action adaptations, I would have to say it's actually pretty good. It has a good, funny, engaging story, and it's charming, it's lovely, great, scenery of Hawaii. So I'll definitely say this is a definite must-see. So that's that. Alright everyone, I look forward to also sharing my review for the 8th Mission Impossible movie, and I will, do a review on that once I get the chance to see that. Alright everyone, take it easy, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course enjoy the Memorial Day holiday. Take care everyone, until the next time.